Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Got a couple things I want to talk to you all about today. Going to make it a pretty quick video. First thing is Dan Bongino is leaving the FBI in January. If you have not heard, he's a little disgruntled, and he wants to go spend some time with his wife and go back to his podcasting career, which was much more lucrative. He probably feels that he's done all that he can do as deputy director of the FBI, considering the fact that the bureaucrats control, obviously, the three-lettered agency, and that's what we're all finding out. Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and Dan Bongino may all three be up and up people when it comes to fighting for this country, fighting for justice and things. But when it comes right down to it, these woke leftist judges and these bureaucrats, I'm guessing in the CIA or lobbyist firms, I don't know where the influence comes from directly, but it's obvious that a lot of people will not get prosecuted in this country, and not in any decent amount of time. We'll probably have to lose the House before they'll actually start proceedings to go after a lot of these people, while they're simultaneously trying to impeach Trump and go after his entire cabinet as well. It's going to be a complete shit show in 2026 if we don't get some prosecutions started ASAP. Just want to put that out there for anybody that's listening. That will be the reason a lot of people don't vote, is if we don't see one person go to jail in the next 10 months. That's just a fact, folks. But speaking of people going to jail, we did get the opportunity to have Fanni Willis and Jack Smith testify today. Now, Jack Smith's testimony today before Congress was a closed-door session, so at this point, we don't know nothing to speak of. But we do have a statement from Dan Bongino. We do got Fanni Willis barking about racism the minute they start accusing her of spending too much money on her boyfriend, hiring her boyfriend to be the lawyer. Bad business all the way around. But we're going to get into that directly. First, let's watch a little bit of Fox News talking about what happened today.
We have a Fox News alert for you here. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino announcing on X just moments ago he is leaving the Bureau in January. He added this: "I want to thank President Trump, AG Bondi, and Director Patel for the opportunity to serve with purpose. Most importantly, I want to thank you, my fellow Americans, for the privilege to serve you. God bless America and all those who defend her."
Ooh, Dana?
Yes.
I just got some breaking news.
Yes.
Fox is announcing a new show, weeknights with Bongino.
What time?
11 p.m. 11 p.m. after Gutfeld.
No, that's Trace Gallagher.
Yeah, don't.
Well, it's Trace and Dan. One's going to be on each coast.
All right, up next.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
That's funny. Yeah, Dan Bongino said today that he is out at the FBI, no doubt about it. Said he wants to spend more time at home with his family. It's probably not doing his marriage any good to be living in one state and working in another. That's got to be hell. And like I said, the truth of the matter is he's probably a little disgruntled at the whole Pam Bondi, the Epstein file situation, the fact that they're making him look a fool every chance they get. It's just really, really a sad situation, to be honest. He probably wants to get his credibility back, go back to doing podcasting where he can actually be honest, because working for the FBI, you don't get to be honest with anybody at that point, I think. But let's go ahead and get into what Fanni Willis said today when being accused of finance issues with her boyfriend / employee. Says Fanni Willis blows up during the Georgia State Senate committee hearing, demands an investigation into how many times she has been called the N-word. Are you kidding me? The blow up came after Willis has shown a document showing how much money her office paid to her lover, Nathan Wade. You can't want something to investigate as a legislature. Investigate how many times they are called me the N-word. Why don't you investigate that? So this is the thing that all Democrats do, especially if they're of a melanated skin color or from any other country or some other DEI diversified pronoun claimer. It's one of those, you can't accuse them of anything, even when they're caught stealing. Same goes for Somalians, same goes for obviously the Fanni Willis types and so many others. The first thing they scream is, Racism. It's got to be because of racism. Sounds like Jasmine Crockett. No different. These people are really, really bad at this whole ability to come up with good answers why they're crooks. But instead, we get the obvious answer, which is it's racism's fault. Y'all caught me stealing. Y'all caught me doing something that was unethical, illegal, and you want an answer to it? No. I don't answer to anybody. I'm black. Y'all are racist for asking me. That's the game. We know how this works, folks.
I don't review those documents. I don't review those documents. So you're asking me to look at documents that I haven't for the first time. What I can tell you is that I allowed Mr. Wade to bill 160 hours a week, and then Mr. Wade would be the first one in the office making sure that my staff arrived. He corrected their behavior. They thought that 8:30 meant 8:30. He taught them that 8:30 means 7:45. He got there before them. He left after him. He taught them how to do this case, and he was a leader to that team and a public servant. And for that, him, like me, has been threatened thousands of times. You want something to investigate as a legislature? Investigate how many times they've called me the N-word. Why don't you investigate that? Why don't you investigate them writing on my house? Why don't you investigate the fact that my house has been swatted? If you want something to do with your time that makes sense, and you can use all this in your campaign ad, you attacked Fanni Willis. What have you done, sir? Nothing.
So I'm going to refer you to the screen. I know you said you don't approve.
I don't look at this.
It ain't working, Fanny. Your ass in trouble. We know what you did. Everybody knows. And because you blacks, you're not getting a free pass on this one. That'll may scare some people off, but not most people. Not at this point. They've screamed racism so long, it's just a mute point. It's just people numb behind it. Just totally numb behind it. Now, so Jack Smith investigation cost taxpayers over $54 million, all based on a scam, targeted his personal enemies, with 65% of the $54 million paying out their salaries. That's where the money went, paying all them lawyers to go get Trump. So Jack and his team got rich for sedition. There he goes. Now, Bill Malugin tried to ask him a bunch of questions, but Jack Smith had nothing to say. He was trying to get his ass in the room as quick as he could. He don't say nothing, not a single word. Government weaponization probe into Jack Smith. Go get him. His ass need to go to prison. We know what he did. Now, Byron Donaldson says he is in process of drawing up impeachment papers for crooked judge, corrupt judge Bossberg, after it was revealed that Bossberg assisted Jack Smith in spying on countless Republicans in the House and in the Senate. And you start with the impeachments immediately. The deep state must go, and it starts with the judges. They're as much as bureaucrats as anybody when the judges are not playing by the real rules of the game, Article 3 rules. Instead, they're playing this favoritism or weaponization game where one guy gets a pass and the next guy, you throw the book at him if you can, even if there's no charges. We're so sick of this crap, folks. We want to see these people go to jail. Now, there is a speculation out today from Tucker Carlson that Trump's announcement tonight at 9 o'clock will be that we are officially declaring war on Venezuela. Now, I don't know if this is absolutely true or not, but I do know it is out there in the ether and it is floating around over here on X as we speak. We will have to see. We'll be watching that. It's on at 9 o'clock our time here. I'm assuming 7, 8 o'clock your time, depending on what state you're in, what time zone you're in. But Trump's address tonight is guaranteed to be something special, is what I'm believing at this point. I think we're actually going to, if Tucker's right, we're going to declare war on the cartel. Okay, I couldn't find my mouse. Back up. Yes, folks, I got one more video clip for you today. A little bit long, 4 or 5 minutes, but I thought this was definitely worth the watch. Yo, Fanni Willis didn't sound too good in court today. Here we're going.
At the president's explicit direction, The department has become President Trump's personal sword and shield to go after his ever-growing list of political enemies and to protect.
There we go. Let me make that a little bigger for you folks so we can actually see it.
At the president's explicit direction, the department has become President Trump's personal sword and shield to go after his ever-growing list of political enemies and to protect himself, his allies, and associates.
I have to say, I am struck by the degree of the cognitive dissonance that I hear on the other side. It really is. I mean, I'm used to sort of the political debates and arguing in court and all those sorts of things. But to hear the other side of the dais talk about weaponization is truly shocking, given what we know now. And I thought what I might do is just tell a story. And these are 100% facts. Hillary Clinton, concerned about her email scandal, works with a Soros organization to cook up this Russiagate nonsense. They feed it to the intelligence agencies. Yep. And they spy, under Barack Obama's presidency, they spy on the political opponent, the Republican, running against Hillary Clinton. He gets elected. They continue the operation. And they launder this intelligence into stuff that was meant to, by the FBI and the CIA, to sideline a presidency of a duly elected president of the United States of America, to sideline him. And that continued. You heard even some people on this committee further that nonsense for 4 years. And then the FBI is involved with pre-bunking the Hunter Biden laptop story because they didn't want him to get elected again. So they pre-bunked the Hunter Biden laptop story. The American people should have been allowed to make their own judgments from that. They weren't, because the FBI called it a Russian hack and leak operation. They were meeting with social media companies every month and every week, telling them that the laptop that they knew, that they had verified in November of 2019, they knew was real and knew was his, said it was Russian disinformation. We've heard that before. And then, after Joe Biden comes in, 3 days in, they start a censorship campaign against the country, anybody who's a conservative. And now we also know that the FBI was weaponized in this Arctic frost investigation that tapped the phones of sitting U.S. senators. And also, the Republican Attorneys General Association, so let's pull in 2 more U.S. senators, Ashley Moody and myself, who were on the executive committee at that time. Charlie Kirk, political organizations they didn't agree with. This is not in the Soviet Union in the 1980s. This is in the United States of America in the last few years. And then, when they thought President Trump was on the run and there's no way people would elect him, and then he announces he's running for president, 3 days later, Jack Smith's appointed to get Trump. Fanni Willis brings charges against President Trump, and the assistant prosecutor meets with the White House counsel's office. Why would that happen? Then you have Alvin Bragg bring his charges. The number 3 person at DOJ goes to work for him to get Trump. All in the United States of America. This continued. And Senator Hawley asked the question, wrote it down, what is happening in this country? And I hope that MSNBC is still broadcasting this, because I'm sure their viewership hasn't heard this story that's gone on for 10 years. The truth is, they never forgave President Trump for coming down the escalator at all. They didn't like him. They didn't like the disruption. And they've spent the better part of a decade not just going after him, but demonizing half the country as fascists and Nazis and threats to democracy. And they have fueled this division. And their inability to accept the fact that half of the country isn't deplorables, as Hillary Clinton called them, bitter clingers, as Barack Obama called them, or trash, as Joe Biden called them. But they rose up and they sat in their own jury box and they saw all this stuff play out over a decade and they rejected it. And now you have come in to clean that up, and you are doing a great job in doing that. And let me make this clear. There is a big difference between what happened under the Biden regime and the weaponization and then holding those people accountable. That is not weaponization. If that doesn't happen, this will happen all over again. So your job, as you talked about in your confirmation hearing, is so important that this never happens again. And holding people accountable who are part of this conspiracy is absolutely your job. And I'm also taking, you don't have to comment on this, your unwillingness to answer questions that have come up. I am led to believe, as a former attorney general, that that might mean there's an ongoing investigation. You don't have to talk about it. The statute of limitations may have run on some of this stuff, but not on a conspiracy. And if you're a co-conspirator in mile marker 1, even if you want to get on the exit ramp in mile marker 5, you are liable for the conspiracy in mile marker 10. And we are at mile marker 10.
Boom. Yes, folks, that was a pretty good layout of what's happened. I hope Jack Smith takes that bit of information and thinks about that when we do our best to indict him and put his ass in prison for weaponization of government. Him, Merrick Garland, Mayorkas, the whole lot of them. If they're not going to an old folks' home, their ass need to go to prison. That's just the facts at this point. And some of them that are going to the old folks' home probably need to be under house arrest one way or another. Just crazy how many of these old, crazy Democrats have ceded power, took control of, I guess, our whole electoral process in so many ways, including putting left-wing judges in there that have cock-blocked everything that Trump's tried to do since he first showed up. The Trump administration has been sued about 600 times already in the last 10 months over every single thing they do, including trying to deport people. It's ridiculous, folks. Part of the solution here is we've got to start finding a way to fire or impeach these judges. And I know it's not easy to fire federal employees, especially judges, because they're tenured in. But there's got to be a way to get them out when we prove they're not doing their damn job. And that's just what I believe. We're going to have to get some kind of resolution on that, or we will always have this problem, because we got a lot of woke judges seated in our country and all over the country. And a lot of them are bought and paid for by the Soros Foundation. And that doesn't help either. Crooked district attorneys and crooked